Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Kindly subscribe to our channel if you are watching us for the first time. Click the notification bell to allow YouTube to notify you whenever we release a video like this. You can also like our videos and share them. And to those who support this channel in any way, the little support that I get from you is not taken for granted, and I want to say thank you very much. The former Attorney General, one of the very Uhuru's closest confidants, Githu Muigai, today revealed to the nation the reason why he does not want any attempt to open and scrutinize the 2022 election servers. Many a times we have seen very many leaders dilly-dallying. They say that the election is over, we are done with it. But Githu Muigai today revealed that the reason why he does not want any attempt to open the IEBC servers is because you can find out that the results that are contained in that server are very different from what was announced. And he explains that this will set a very bad precedent so that in the near future, no matter what the Supreme Court will say, people will still reflect back and say that we opened this server sometimes and it was found with anomalies, and so we don't trust it. He also says that there is a possibility that in our country, our judges can be kidnapped when things are getting thicker. Please take a look at Githu Muigai, because this is gonna form the foundation and the basis of our discussion.
Because again, it reopens the question that has been resolved with finality by the Supreme Court. The challenge with reopening matters that have been judicially settled is that you, by necessary implication and inadvertently, you create the possibility that confidence in that institution can be eroded. And I don't think that that would give us, in going forward, it would create a permanent state of electoral instability, because no matter who would win or lose, no matter what the Supreme Court would say, that party would say, we know. In fact, in that year, the Supreme Court said this, but when we did a further forensic audit, the forensic audit produced a different outcome. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, that the work of the Supreme Court is not to declare that the election was conducted without a hitch. That is not the standard. It is not to find whether there was any hitch. In fact, since I started participating in these elections in 2013, before the Supreme Court, 10 years ago, the Supreme Court has always said there was a hitch. There was a hitch. But the standard of the law is, was there a hitch of such a substantial nature that it affected the outcome of the election? And in 4 of the cases I participated in, the answer was no. In 1, the Supreme Court said, yes, this is not good. This is not a hitch. This has gone beyond a hitch. I didn't agree with them then, but I respected that opinion and I obeyed it. And as the Attorney of the Republic, I went back and started arranging for a new election, which we did hold thereafter. If the election is not, for example, if we do an election, the Electoral Commission declares a presidential winner, a petition is filed, members of the Supreme Court are kidnapped, we do not hear the petition and finalize it within the period provided, then we have no government. I think these are very dangerous propositions, and we want to have a more flexible system. And I know there are many experts who can help us.
You know, we have been saying these things, and some people think that we are overstretching, that we are reading too much. Githu Muigai was the first, I think, of the first Attorney General under the new constitution. And he found himself at the center of an electoral quagmire in 2013, when for the first time a presidential petition was being listened to in time with 7 judges. And what he did, he moved very fast to request the court to allow him to become an amicus curiae, being a friend of the court, interested and trying to advise. And he moved very fast, having realized that the elections was never conducted in a free and a verifiable manner, and advised the court that I understand that the election can never be impeccable. There are hitches and loopholes, but I'm requesting this court to look at the hitches. Do they meet the threshold to overturn the whole election, considering the amount of money that have been used, resources, the amount of time and attention? And that formed the basis of a ruling that was done within 5 minutes by the former Chief Justice, a man who I respect. They took 5 minutes and they said that the election was done in a free and verifiable manner. There were hitches, but very minute, and cannot compel the court to announce or to nullify. In 2017, he still went there as the Attorney General. But this time round, he was meeting a man with the heart of a lion, David Maraga, who looked at Githu Muigai, looked at Uhuru Kenyatta, looked at William Ruto, and he told them the elections were never free and fair, just coming close to telling them elections were rigged. So Attorney General, the former Attorney General Githu Muigai, is not your ordinary man. Even in the last presidential petition, he was there and he was representing William Ruto and IEBC. And I remember him saying that the chairman of the IEBC is a man who wields more powers than the other commissioners, and he can decide to rule over them. Something that became a hot potato debate. And I think as people look at electoral justice, this is one of the things that they will be looking at, whether a chairman of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission is a prefect over the others, because it has been a problem. The Cherera 4 team say, even today it came up, that towards the tail end of the verification of the results, the former IEBC chair told them, this is the result, and we will announce it at it is. At some point, they begged him to refresh the screen that was showing the results, and he refused. So people are still wondering, can the chairman of the IEBC rule or overrule the others? So when Attorney General says that he does not want the servers to be opened, in a nutshell, he's simply saying this, ladies and gentlemen, that if we open that server, we might find the Jose Camargo results. And when we compare to the real voters, we might find the very many faults, and this can plunge the country into quagmire. You know, people like Deputy Githu Muigai have always dilly-dallied around it. But Githu Muigai, I've realized today, is more truthful than the truthful man that we have. Githu Muigai has always said that he's a truthful man. But today, Githu Muigai is saying that we can find out that the result that is there is not the true reflection of the will of the people. And I've always said, what is the will of the people? It all depends on your political affiliation. So know it, especially those who support Kenya Kwanza. This is your man. And he's saying he fears that that result, the result that is inside the server, is not the true picture of the Kenya's verdict. He's also saying something that is very shocking, and he was giving an example. And as a former Attorney General, he can only be giving examples of scenarios that are very pragmatic, things that can happen, no theory. He's saying that we can hold an election, then the IEBC or the 7 judges are kidnapped. Let me ask you, judges have got security, they have got state machinery, they have got state cars. Who can kidnap a judge between opposition and the government? In 2017, for those who can remember, the Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu had some trouble, some challenges. When it was a day to judgment on whether election could go on after the NASA team had decided to quit, whether the election could go on, Philomena Mwilu's bodyguard was shot. And that was a warning. Someone was only trying to tell Philomena Mwilu, because back then it was believed that Philomena Mwilu was pro-NASA, the Raila Kalonzo team. And so it goes without saying that Raila and the team could have not planned to intimidate him, to shoot her body, or to intimidate her and to shoot her bodyguard. It only means that the other side, the government, could have planned for this. And these are things that do happen. If it was said by an opposition leader or any member of parliament, they would have said that, you know, this person wants Kenya to ban, no one can do this. But this is the former Attorney General telling you a judge can be kidnapped at a very crucial time when we want them to go for ruling. He's only trying to paint for you a picture. He's opening your eyes. Today, I want you to know that the only reason, there is no any other reason, the only reason why the Kenya Kwanza team do not want that server to be opened is because there could be a different result. And let me tell you, the other day the IEBC said that, you know, we are ready, you can open the server. But someone was telling me, an IT guru, that the government might think that they are so clever. But when we do a forensic audit, some traces of mischief can be found. And this can plunge the country into irretrievable, problems. Let us look at, because the only other area that I disagree with him, he's telling us that in all the 4 cases of the 4 presidential petitions that he participated, they were found to be having a few hitches, but not enough to warrant the nullification of election. In the last election, the 7 judges did not find even one hitch from the opposition, because they said all of them, it was like a wild goose chase. All of them were hot air. I mean, they didn't even find one. Yet Githu Muigai is telling us that in all the petitions, it is found that there are hitches. They never found any hitches, according to them. And this is why I'm telling you that even in leadership, we need people who are very courageous. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. It is what it is. We don't want you to open that server because we'll find a different result from what was announced by the IEBC chair. And no wonder that is the reason why the former IEBC chair declined to go to Bomas. That is my take.